Because we are trying to help parents look after children. But what are we doing to help children look after their elderly parents?
That is a concern for many children of elderly parents, meaning people in their 40s, 50s, parents in their 70s, 80s, looking after their own kids, but at the same time looking after their elderly parents, double burden. So they, I think, have the most claim to being called a sandwich class, because they're really sandwiched between the older ones and the younger ones. And if your elderly parents are well, then that's a great blessing, because they add a tremendous richness to your family and help you to look after your kids and give you sage advice. And it's a good feeling that you're paying back to your parents all the good things which they did for you when they brought you up. But if your parents are old and unwell, and if they're bedridden or in a wheelchair bound and need intensive care or more intensive care, I think that can be quite tough on the families. Nursing homes are solutions for some, but I think many would prefer not to send their parents into care, and would like to care for their parents at home. And we should try and help them to do that. We've been doing measures to help old folks like this at home. I think we have the EASE scheme which we introduced this year to fit out the HDB flats with elder-friendly features, grab bars, non-slip floors, even out the steps and ramps if you have steps on the front door, which I think will be very helpful to old folks moving around at home, because falls are a very big worry for old people. I think we've also had more subsidies for intermediate and long-term care for people who are looking after parents at home. I think subsidies will help you cope with your maid costs, even your nursing costs. These will be helpful. We've worked very hard to try and do active aging facilities and daycare facilities in the housing estates, so that the parents have something to do and have somewhere to go. And in the daytime, you can go and be active and get some exercise and socialize. I think that's a tremendous help. And we have seen how the senior citizens who are involved in our Tai Chi or in our active aging groups, there's a bounce in their step and a sudden lift in their smile and in their expression and animation, which really warms the heart that we are doing the right thing. And I hope more kids will encourage their parents to do that.
How prepared would you say the country is for the for the aging society that we are facing?
I think there's a lot more to be done. I think we don't realize how quickly this is going to happen, and it's going to happen to my generation. Because if you're 50s looking after an 80-year-old, that's fine. If you're 60s looking after somebody who may be coming to 90, that's very, very tough. And when you yourself are going to be 70, you will find that there aren't so many young people to look after you. And we must make sure that we have enough facilities for the people who will be 70, my generation 10 years from now, who will need hospital care, who will need chronic illnesses to be treated, who will need daily assistance with daily living. We have to build the hospitals, we have to train the doctors and nurses, we have to get the nurses, and I think we don't have enough from Singapore. There's no way. You have to bring in from neighboring countries and train them and get them to know how to handle Singaporean patients and talk to Singaporean patients. And we have to make sure that when we are that age, there are enough young people still working so that the economy is vibrant and it's not a tremendous burden on the young ones. If you look at on a global basis, well, it's just numbers. But if you look at it on a family basis, 2 old people, if you only have 2 young ones to look after them, who must also look after 2 children, that's 1 on 1. In fact, maybe 2 on 1, because 1 above, 1 below. And where is the solution? Part of the solution has to be more babies, and I think we're trying our best, but I don't think we can even get a C+ for results. I think B for effort and C- for outcomes. And part of the answer has to be immigration, because we need the people who will keep our economy vibrant. There is no way out of that.
When do you think this message will sink in, that we need these nurses, we need these caregivers?
I think people understand it when it comes to themselves, because they will ask and come see the MP and ask the MP and say, I need a maid, and please help me get the maid, or please help me get a place in the nursing home. But when you look at it en masse, and it's other people's maid and other people's nursing home, and you meet them not in the nursing home taking care of your parent, but down along Orchard Road or Botanic Gardens where they are gathered on weekends, day off, then unfortunately your attitude is different and a certain disconnect. And you don't realize that we have to accept some of this because we need the people here and they are making a contribution to us.
Putting aside the unhappiness over foreigners in our midst, there's also the seeming resistance to having more nursing homes. Every corner you turn.
Yes, there is a challenge.
So how are you going to cope with that?
I think that we have to, as MPs and advisors, we have to get our people to understand that this is really for you. You are yourself going to grow old. You already probably have elderly parents. If not, you one day, before very long, will be in that age group. And you will need to have some place to go. And do you want to be chased somewhere else because your neighbors don't want you? And I think it will help if people can see that these are facilities which are coming up all over Singapore, and not just in a particular place, and feel that they're particularly unlucky to be burdened with this nursing home next door. I mean, we have, many of the constituencies have them. I'm going to have one in Teck Ghee coming up. I already have an APIC, an early intervention center for kids in 2 of my blocks in Teck Ghee, which is being built. And we have to go around, we have to talk to the residents and explain to them and get them to accept it and understand it. At the same time, of course, you have to make sure that you minimize any inconvenience there may be to the residents, and also clear up any misconception that this is something which is going to cause them a problem, or worse, affect their property prices.
With the benefit of hindsight, do you think that sort of consultation or the effort to clear up misperceptions could have been done in some of these previous exercises that attracted so much media attention?
Yes, you can do. I think we could have done more. You can always do more. But of course, people don't really focus and pay attention until something is about to happen to them. I mean, you can tell somebody, 5 years from now, I have a crisis. Nobody will pay attention until it is next week. I mean, it's in the nature of people's daily lives and their concerns, and the here and now, unfortunately, always looms larger. So until something is about to be built, you can give any number of sermons you like about the importance of good neighborliness and social responsibility. I don't think you will get a huge fan audience. But when the project is about to happen, then I think people will focus their minds. It's natural, it's human.
The concern behind this question is really this fear that government may not be there to help me as I try to cope in my finances in taking care of my elderly parents. I
think the government is doing a considerable amount more, and we are planning ahead and putting into place the nursing homes, hospitals, and facilities is really a big, and getting people to think about this is a big part of the government's responsibility. But finally, it cannot just be what is the government going to do about this, because the government finally is not people, It's just an abstract idea. What is it which each individual can do to prepare for the burden which is on his family, to minimize the likelihood that is going to have a health problem by taking care of your health, and by having enough of your kids and family, so that there is a balance in the family's structure.